where we talk about the coins that could literally change your life. You might be sitting on your couch right now, sipping your morning coffee, or maybe you're just cleaning out that jar of spare change in the kitchen, thinking it's nothing but pocket lint and old gum wrappers. But let me tell you, today's coin, the 2017 Ellis Island quarter, has been known to fetch an eye-popping $1.9 million at auction. Yep, you heard that right. $1.9 million for a quarter that could be in your change right now. That's enough to buy a fancy house, pay off your debt, or at least finally splurge on that sports car your spouse keeps saying you can't afford. Stick around because I'm going to show you how to identify this rare treasure, what makes it so valuable, and how you can turn a humble 25-cent piece into the payday of your dreams. And to keep things fun, I'll even share a little story about the time I almost threw away a coin worth thousands because I thought it was just another piece of lunch money. Let's get into it. At first, let's rewind to 2017. The U.S. Mint released the Ellis Island quarter as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program. This series featured national parks and landmarks in all 50 states and territories. The Ellis Island design shows an immigrant family standing on the threshold of America, gazing up at the promise of a new life. Pretty fitting, considering this coin could mean a new life for you too. What does the P mint mark mean? Simple, it was minted in Philadelphia. While millions were struck, only a handful came out with ultra-rare die errors and pristine conditions that make them worth a fortune. Let's break this down because not every 2017 Ellis Island quarter is going to buy you a yacht. The real money is in specific traits. Some coins have dramatic die breaks, doubled dies, or misalignments that collectors go absolutely bonkers for. Graded coins in perfect MS68 or MS69 condition are the cream of the crop. Only a tiny fraction of the total mintage meets all these criteria. Coins that have appeared in major auctions with documented histories tend to skyrocket in value. This is where the big bucks come in. A verified 2017 Ellis Island quarter with significant errors and top-grade condition was sold privately for $1.9 million. Someone just about lost their mind over a quarter because it was the rare unicorn of modern U.S. coinage. Look closely at the inscriptions, especially Liberty and In God We Trust. Some doubled die examples show clear doubling on the letters. Check Washington's profile for any unusual doubling or cracks. The image of Ellis Island itself should be crisp and well-centered. Certain error coins have a massive die break near the immigrant family. It almost looks like a big blob or crack running across the building. The P should be clear. If it's missing or unusually placed, you could have a striking error. The highest grade coins have a satin-like shine with no scratches, nicks, or dull spots. Take your time with this. It's like panning for gold. Most of what you'll find is common, but the rare ones do exist. Let me tell you about the time I nearly gave away a coin worth over $4,000. I was cleaning out an old jar of change. You know, the same one everyone has on the counter full of receipts, broken rubber bands, and who knows what else. I had this coin that looked just a little off. I almost tossed it into the Coinstar machine, but something told me to hang on to it. A week later, I took it to a coin dealer who just about jumped over the counter when he saw it. It turned out to be a doubled die penny from 1969. That little mistake funded my vacation to Hawaii. So trust me when I say, take a second look at your change. Contact PCGS or NGC. These companies authenticate and grade your coin officially. Heritage Auctions and Stacksbowers have handled multi-million-dollar coins, coin shows, online forums, and dealers can help you connect with serious buyers. If someone offers you $50 cash on the spot, that's probably not your best deal. Knowledge is power. The more you learn about your coin, the better positioned you are to negotiate. All old coins are valuable. Age alone doesn't make a coin worth millions. You can clean your coin to make it worth more. Never, ever clean your coins. That can ruin their value. It's too hard to find rare coins. People discover them all the time in spare change, rolls from the bank, or inherited collections. Look for mint errors, doubling, perfect surfaces. Always get professional grading. Never assume your pocket change is worthless. A little curiosity can change your life. If you've made it this far, you're officially more informed than 99% of people who toss their quarters into a vending machine without a second thought. The next time you get change at the grocery store or dig through the couch cushions, take a moment to look at your coins. You never know when you might be holding the key to financial freedom right in the palm of your hand. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more insider tips on coins worth money. I'm always here to share strategies, stories, and a little humor along the way. Leave me a comment if you've ever found something valuable in your change, or just to say hi. And hey, who knows? Maybe next time, you'll be the one emailing me to say you cashed in a 2017 Ellis Island quarter for $1.9 million. Hey there, coin hunters and curious minds. Let me ask you a question that might just change your life forever. What if I told you there's a plain old Washington quarter from 1992 with a little D mint mark that could be worth up to $1 million? One single coin, the size of a bottle cap, could pay off your mortgage, send your kids to college, buy you the dream convertible, and still leave you with enough left over for a lifetime supply of tacos. Today, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about this rare 1992 D Washington quarter. We'll explore what makes it so special, why collectors are paying top dollar, and how you can spot one in your own spare change. So grab a comfy seat, maybe a cup of coffee or your beverage of choice, and get ready to discover why this little coin is worth a cool million. Alright, before you start flipping over every quarter in your couch cushions, let's first understand what makes this coin so valuable. The 1992 D Washington quarter was minted in Denver. That's what the D stands for. On the surface, it looks pretty ordinary. George Washington on the front, the eagle on the back, the usual stuff, but here's where it gets interesting. Some of these quarters were struck with a rare transitional error. The dies used to strike them were prepared in a way that left them with a unique, crisp finish unlike anything else minted that year. The $1 million examples are in pristine, uncirculated condition. Think of them like an antique car that never left the showroom. Fewer than a handful are confirmed to exist in such perfect shape, which sends collectors into a bidding frenzy. It's a classic case of supply and demand. Imagine you've got millions of ordinary 1992 D quarters floating around, but only a tiny fraction have this rare, perfect die strike in perfect condition. That's when big money shows up. Here's the fun part. If you have a magnifying glass or even just a good set of eyes, start by checking the clarity of the lettering. On the valuable specimens, the letters are extremely sharp, almost like they were etched under a microscope, the strike of Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers. In ordinary quarters, details get mushy. In the valuable ones, it's all crisp and clean. Look for any oddities in the edge or rim, things like doubling, unusual spacing, or extra material. Loud as of this year, the top verified examples have sold for up to $1 million at auction. Let that sink in. A coin worth 25 cents at the gas station can change your financial life, even if yours isn't perfect. High-grade 1992 D quarters can still be worth hundreds or thousands. Let me tell you about the time I almost lost what could have been my own treasure. A few years back, I was helping my uncle clean out his old junk drawer. He had this giant jar full of quarters. We were half watching a football game, and I was absent-mindedly sorting through them. I remember picking up a 1992 D quarter, looking at it, and thinking, 1992, neat. Then I tossed it back into the jar. It wasn't until months later, when I read an article about the $1 million version of the coin, that I realized I'd never checked for the fine details. To this day, I still wonder if that was my $1 million sitting there in that old peanut butter jar. Moral of the story: check your coins carefully. Do not clean it. Even a little scrubbing can slash the value. Take clear, high-resolution photos of both sides, compare it to verified images online from reputable auction houses, consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They will authenticate it and assign it an official grade. Keep it safe. A protective coin holder is your best friend. The truth is, coin collectors are a passionate bunch. For them, finding that one-of-a-kind example completes a set, makes history, and cements their reputation. Plus, rare coins are a tangible asset. Unlike stocks, you can hold them in your hand and pass them down to your kids or grandkids, and honestly, there's something thrilling about owning a little piece of American history. All 1992 quarters are worth a fortune. Nope, most of them are still worth 25 cents. I can just clean mine up to make it look shiny. That can erase decades of patina and authenticity. Coins like this have been discovered in spare change, vending machines, and old piggy banks. That's why you never know where your treasure could be hiding. To break things up, here are some cool tidbits. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The D mint mark means it came from Denver. In 1992, over 389 million quarters were produced across all mints. Only a handful of the $1 million versions are known to exist. Whether you're sifting through pocket change or going through old collections, take a minute to look at the next 1992 D Washington quarter you hold. Could be your ticket to financial freedom. Imagine waking up tomorrow knowing you've got $1 million sitting in a little plastic coin holder on your dresser. If that doesn't motivate you to start looking, I don't know what will. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'm here every week sharing tips about coins worth money, strategies to build wealth, and stories that might just inspire you to start your own treasure hunt. Drop me a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or have a story about a near miss like mine. I love hearing from you. Hey there, treasure hunters, coin collectors, and everyone who secretly checks their spare change hoping to hit the jackpot. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought that a simple 25-cent coin rattling around in your pocket could actually be worth over $1 million? You heard me right. 1.1 million bucks. That's the kind of money that makes you rethink every quarter you've ever tossed into a vending machine. Today, we're going to explore the fascinating, slightly unbelievable world of the 2013 D. Perry's Victory $quarter coin. This little piece of metal might look ordinary, but don't let it fool you, it's a hidden gem that could change your life. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be sprinting to your piggy bank like it's Black Friday at a department store. So grab a cup of coffee, maybe a magnifying glass if you're feeling extra serious, and settle in. Because over the next 50 minutes, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know about this record-breaking coin. We'll cover what makes it valuable, how you can spot one, and even how I almost spent one without realizing it. No joke. Alright, let's start with a little background on this elusive quarter. The 2013 D. Perry's Victory and International Peace Memorial Quarter was part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program. If you've ever noticed quarters with fancy landmarks and thought, that's pretty cool, this is one of them. This one commemorates Perry's victory in the War of 1812, specifically the Battle of Lake Erie. The D Mint mark means it was struck at the Denver Mint. And while millions were made, a few of them, very few, came out with minting errors and unique qualities that make them incredibly valuable. So what exactly makes one of these coins worth $1.1 million? Let's break it down. First, rarity. In the world of numismatics, rarity is like rocket fuel for value. Out of the massive production run, only a tiny fraction ended up with what collectors call exceptional strike anomalies. We're talking about coins that were double struck, coins with planchet errors, coins with die clashes, basically, the kinds of mistakes that make a coin unique. Second, condition. Even a rare coin loses value if it's been banged around in someone's coin jar for a decade. The $1 million Perry's Victory Quarter was graded at an astonishing mint state 69 by a top grading service. That's almost perfect. Third, demand. Collectors are a passionate bunch. When word gets out about a legendary error coin, everyone wants a piece of the action. That's when the bidding wars start, and the price shoots into the stratosphere. Let me give you a little mental image to chew on. Imagine you're digging around in your car's cup holder and you pull out a sticky quarter with some old soda on it. You wipe it off, squint at the design, and realize, holy smokes, that's Perry's Victory. You look closer, see the D Mint mark, and your heart starts thumping like a drum solo. You check the date, 2013. You flip it over and notice a weird doubling on the letters. Congratulations, you might be holding a piece of American history worth more than most people's houses, and that, my friends, is why you never underestimate spare change. And now, let's talk about what to look for. If you want to be the proud owner of one of these $1 million beauties, you need to know the signs. Look for the tiny D near the bottom right of the design. The better the condition, the higher the grade. Double strikes, die cracks, or off-center designs. The fewer scratches and dings, the more valuable. I'm going to say this as clearly as possible, don't clean your coins. Ever. No soap, no toothbrush, no fancy polish you saw in a late-night infomercial. Cleaning can ruin the surface and erase thousands, or in this case, hundreds of thousands of dollars in value. Alright, time for a little story. A few years ago, before I knew much about coins, I was at a flea market on a lazy Sunday morning. You know, the kind of day where you browse around pretending you don't really want to buy anything. Well, I stopped by this old guy's table piled high with jars of coins. He was selling them by the pound like they were just metal scraps. I picked up a jar, turned it over, and noticed a few quarters with unfamiliar designs. One of them was a Perry's Victory quarter. I thought, neat, and almost walked away. But something told me to fork over the $15 he was asking. When I got home and looked up the coin, I realized I might have something special. It wasn't the $1 million variety, but it still sold for over $200 at auction. Not bad for a flea market impulse buy. So if you take one thing away from this video, let it be this: pay attention to what's right in front of you. Let's say you do find one of these coins. What's next? First, get it authenticated and graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. That's how you'll prove it's real and establish its condition. After that, you can auction it at a major house like Heritage Auctions, and if you're thinking about holding onto it to see if the value goes even higher, you wouldn't be the first collector to stash it away in a safe for a rainy day. Perry's Victory is the tallest Doric column in the US, taller than the Statue of Liberty from pedestal to torch. Most of the 2013 D. Perry's Victory quarters are worth exactly 25 cents, but the special ones can buy you a vacation home. History, grading, personal stories, and even a little cautionary tale about cleaning coins. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who just found a quarter under your couch cushions, remember this: treasures are hiding everywhere. Sometimes, all it takes is an extra look to discover something life-changing. Imagine what you'd do if you found that $1 million quarter. Maybe you'd pay off the mortgage, travel the world, or finally buy that giant massage chair you've been eyeing. Whatever your dream is, a tiny coin could make it come true. If you enjoyed this video and you're hungry for more stories about coins worth a fortune, make sure to subscribe to this channel. I'm always dropping tips, tricks, and strategies to help you spot hidden wealth right under your nose. And hey, hit that like button if you learned something new today. It helps me keep creating content for fellow coin enthusiasts like you. Thanks for spending time with me. Now go check your pockets, your $1 million discovery could be waiting. Where we turn pocket change into life-changing fortunes. Today, we're diving into a coin you've probably tossed into a tip jar without a second thought, the 1995 D. Washington quarter. And you might want to sit down for this because its value has soared to a mind-blowing $1.3 million. Yep, that's not a typo. $1.3 million for a coin that most people wouldn't bother bending over to pick up off the sidewalk. Before you go flipping your couch cushions or raiding your car's cup holder, stick around because in this video we're going to break down exactly what makes this quarter so special, how you can spot one, and what to do if you find it. Plus, I'm going to share a story about the time I almost threw away a coin that could have bought me a yacht. Spoiler alert, I'm still driving a used Honda. Alright, grab a coffee, put your feet up, and let's get into the fascinating story of the $1 million quarter. Let's start with a little background. The Washington quarter has been around since 1932, when it was first minted to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday. But fast forward to 1995, the Denver Mint was churning out these coins by the hundreds of millions. So why in the world is one worth over $1 million today? That's where rarity and condition come in. Most of these coins were spent, scratched up, and banged around. But there are a tiny handful of 1995 D quarters that were struck with extraordinary precision, preserved in pristine condition, and have unique errors that collectors go absolutely bonkers over. You've got two identical-looking quarters. One is worth 25 cents. The other is worth more than a mansion. The only difference? A nearly invisible detail that most people would never notice without a magnifying glass. First, it's the strike quality. The most valuable ones were struck on special planchets, meaning the metal disc was prepared under near-perfect conditions. This results in a mirror-like finish, crisp details in Washington's hair, and no contact marks. Second, there's a rare die error called a double die reverse. If you look closely at the word $quarter on the back, you'll see slight doubling. It's subtle, but to collectors, it's like finding a golden ticket. Third, it's been graded by a top-tier grading service as MS68 or higher. That's a mint state grade so high it makes most other quarters look like they've been chewed by a lawnmower. Rare die error, near-perfect condition, impeccable provenance, and you've got a coin that commands $1 million price tag at auction. Now, I promised you a personal story, so here goes. A few years ago, I was clearing out an old jar of coins from my grandmother's house. There were stacks of quarters, nickels, and pennies, the usual suspects. I was in a hurry, so I dumped the whole thing into a Coinstar machine. While it was counting, I noticed this shiny quarter with a crisp-looking eagle on the back. I thought, looks new, but didn't give it another second of thought. Later that night, I was reading an article about rare quarters and saw a picture of the exact same design with the same Denver Mint mark. My heart dropped into my shoes. I raced back to the grocery store like a lunatic, begging them to let me look inside the Coinstar bin. Spoiler alert, no luck. To this day, I wonder if I let $1 million slip right through my fingers. Lesson learned, always check your change. Alright, now let's talk about what you should look for. First, flip your quarter over and check for the D-mint mark right next to Washington's ponytail. That's step 1. Next, grab a magnifying glass and look at the lettering on the back. If you see even the slightest doubling on United States of America or quarter dollar, you could be holding a fortune. Then, check the coin's overall condition. Is it shiny? Are the details sharp? No big scratches or dents? If it looks immaculate, you might be onto something big. Finally, get it graded. Don't skip this step. Professional grading by PCGS or NGC is what separates a nice quarter from $1 million payday. Without that certificate, collectors won't take you seriously. You might be wondering why anyone would pay $1.3 million for a quarter. The truth is, rare coins are booming right now. Collectors are willing to pay huge sums for the bragging rights of owning the best of the best. Think of it like fine art or classic cars. Scarcity drives value. When only a few examples exist in perfect condition, competition can get fierce. Auctions turn into bidding wars, and that's when you see prices skyrocket. Plus, coins are a tangible piece of history. Owning $1 million quarter is like owning a little time capsule from the 90s, back when we were still rewinding VHS tapes and arguing about whether OJ was guilty. First, never clean it. Polishing or scrubbing will ruin the surface and destroy its value. Second, put it in a hard plastic holder to protect it from scratches and fingerprints. Third, store it in a cool, dry place. Humidity is the enemy of old coins. Finally, insure it. If you've got $1 million coin, you don't want to leave it sitting in a sock drawer. Call your insurance agent and add it to your policy. The 1932D and 1932S Washington quarters, worth tens of thousands in top condition. The 1970S proof quarter struck on a Canadian planchet, worth around $35000. The 2004 Wisconsin quarter with the extra leaf error, some have sold for over $6,000. It just goes to show that treasure really can be hiding in plain sight. Get it authenticated and graded. Decide whether to auction it or sell privately. Auction houses like Heritage or Stacksbauer specialize in high-end coins and will market it to serious buyers. Negotiate fees and reserve prices so you don't get lowballed. Celebrate. Maybe take a vacation or finally buy that boat you've been eyeing. Before we wrap up, let me tell you why I'm passionate about coins. Every coin has a story. A 1995 D quarter isn't just metal, it's a symbol of how something ordinary can become extraordinary. It's proof that opportunity can be hiding in your pocket, and let's be honest, it's also really fun to think you might be sitting on a secret fortune. Alright, folks, if you've made it this far, you're officially part of the coin collector family. Next time you get change at the grocery store, take a second to look closer. Because maybe, just maybe, you'll find that 1 in a million coin that changes your life forever. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins worth serious money, be sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. And if you've got a coin story, maybe you found something incredible or made the same mistake I did, drop a comment below. I love hearing from you. Thanks for spending your time with me today. Remember, keep looking, keep learning, and don't underestimate the power of spare change. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts. Let me ask you a question. What if I told you that a plain old quarter sitting in your change jar could be worth a whopping $1.4 million? That's right, $1.4 million for a 25-cent piece. Sounds like something out of a late-night infomercial, doesn't it? But today, we're not talking about gimmicks or tall tales. We're talking about the legendary 2015 D Kisatchie quarter dollar. If you've never heard of it, you're about to discover why collectors and investors are tripping over each other to get their hands on this elusive little coin. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and stick around. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, why this coin is so valuable, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be inspired to dig through your couch cushions like your life depends on it. Let's kick things off by talking about what exactly the Kisatchie quarter dollar is. Released in 2015 as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, this coin celebrates the Kisatchie National Forest down in Louisiana. You might be wondering, what's so special about a forest on a coin? Well, the design features a wild turkey flying over blue stem grass with longleaf pine in the background. Honestly, if you squint, you'd swear it's just a bird in a bush. But trust me, there's more to it than meets the eye. The D-mint mark tells us this quarter was struck in Denver. And here's where things get interesting. Not all Kisachi quarters are worth a fortune, only specific ones with extraordinary errors or ultra-rare mint conditions fetch these sky-high prices. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. Why on earth would anyone pay $1.4 million for a single coin? First up, you've got to understand the role of errors. Some of these quarters were struck with dramatic die clashes. Basically, the coin dies smashed together without a blank planchet between them, leaving ghostly images and doubling in odd places. Imagine looking at George Washington's face and seeing it smeared like he's in a funhouse mirror. Collectors go nuts for that. Others have been graded at an absolutely pristine mint state 70 by third-party grading services. That means the coin is flawless under 5x magnification. We're talking the Michael Jordan rookie card equivalent of coins here, a piece that looks like it was minted this morning. Then there are the rumors of a small batch struck on experimental planchets, special metal blanks, which were never supposed to leave the mint. When one popped up at auction, it sold for over $1 million. A single coin. Imagine that. I never thought much about coins growing up. I was the guy who'd toss them in a cup and forget about them until it was time to feed the parking meter. But about 3 years ago, my buddy Jim, who's about as frugal as they come, called me up and said, "You're not going to believe this, but I just sold a quarter for more than I make in a year." I thought he was pulling my leg. But sure enough, he'd found an error quarter from the America the Beautiful series. Not the Kisachi, but a similar rare one. That was my wake-up call. I started researching, and next thing you know, I'm the guy standing in line at the bank asking for rolls of quarters like I'm stocking a vending machine. Alright, let's talk practical steps. How can you tell if you're sitting on a gold mine or just 25 cents? No scratches, dings, or wear. The shinier and cleaner, the better. Look for doubling, ghost images, or unusual marks around the date or lettering. If the coin feels heavier or lighter, or looks oddly colored, it could be struck on a wrong metal blank. If you think you've got a winner, send it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Their label can add thousands, or millions, to your coin's value. Don't forget to store your coin in a protective holder. You don't want your $1 million quarter rattling around in a kitchen drawer with spare batteries and bread ties. Let's wrap up with a snapshot of the market. In the past 5 years, high-grade Kisachi quarters have sold for $7,000 for a near-perfect MS69 example, $45,000 for a major die clash error, and a jaw-dropping $1.4 million for a flawless experimental planchet specimen. These numbers are real, verified auction results. The demand is driven by deep-pocketed collectors who see coins as investments that outpace the stock market. The next time you get change, don't just shove it in your pocket. Take a moment to look. Because hidden among those quarters could be your ticket to early retirement or a Caribbean vacation you've been dreaming about for 20 years. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I post tips on coins worth serious money, strategies to grow your collection, and stories that prove even ordinary folks can strike it rich in the world of rare currency. If you've ever found an unusual coin or have a story like my buddy Jim, share it in the comments below. I'd love to hear it, and so would everyone else watching.